Cardinals. You said top 5 reasons the Cardinals are playing better.
Yes.
Over the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay. How about just in no particular order?
No.
The catching situation has been figured out. All of the drama surrounding what the hell is going on with Wilson Contreras. All right, now he's back. He's catching the majority of games. He's hitting, but he's always been hitting. Kiz is in there, picking his spots.
Kiz dope.
Willie's stealing strikes.
Yeah, he is.
That frame job on Saturday Night Baby just pulled that baby over. That was not a strike. Max Muncy's complaining. The Dodgers, the big old Dodgers, are whining. They're whining. So that was one. I think
that was a lot of one.
I know. The offense has emerged. And I think, look, you've had some feast or famine, but I think when you see that they're putting up 10 spots here and there and 16 spots and 18 spots, look, that's not going to always happen. You'd prefer to have about 5 or 6 a game more consistently, but still, I think when this offense is right, they're going to be one of the best offenses in baseball. I thought most people thought that would be the case even entering the season. They were really good last year. I think sometimes we forgot how good of an offense they were last year because we focused too much on September and basically the fact that they got shut down in the playoffs. Well, they have really good position players.
It's no coincidence either that they're playing better over the past 2 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Couldn't play much worse, but outside of that.
And good teams they're beating.
And they're beating good teams. And they're playing good teams that were coming in on heaters and stopping those heaters, which is a different thing. But Nolan Arenado has clicked in.
Yes.
And
dang right.
It's no surprise when Nolan Arenado clicks in, starts hitting the ball the way he is, the team goes. Now, when you look over the last week, Arenado's been still locked in, hitting over 400, got 3 bombs. Nolan Gorman's on a different universe. Nolan's not even the best Nolan on the team right now. But Paul Goldschmidt, who was carrying a lot of that weight while Arenado was down and doing things like that, he's been down a bit. He hasn't had a lot of hits. He's hitting 143 over the last week. That's fine. That's
just a bad week.
That's a bad week.
That's a bad week.
That means
big picture, he's still really good.
Absolutely nothing. He took 3 walks the other day. He's got 11 walks in that time span, too. So it is what it is. He's getting on base in front of Gorman so that Gorman's bombs actually mean something. But when your top guys go, when the guys that are your non-negotiables, we talked all year about people can move throughout the outfield. You don't have set up the middle. The guys you don't talk about is who's at first and third. When they're locked in and they're hitting and they're getting on base and they're doing their thing,
they're grooving.
The team goes.
Yeah,
it's not rocket science. That's why they are who they are.
Team's grooving, dude.
Good points. So Nolan Arenado has become Nolan Arenado. How about Paul DeJong, though?
How about Paul DeJong?
Honestly,
I know.
Paul DeJong has been right up there with, again, Arenado more recently, but Gorman, Goldschmidt. I mean, Paul DeJong's numbers, I'm not saying he's going to sustain them throughout the whole season, but they're freaking awesome right now. Miles Michaelis has also stabilized in the rotation.
Yeah, well, when we talk about those guys, and again, you got to have the guys who are doing the work, maybe not getting the pub for it. Tommy Edman has been on another planet.
There you go.
Of late. I mean, he's got a OPS that's 1429. That's incredible. That's stupid. But he's out there. He's doing his thing. He's playing all over the place. He almost got banged up the other day. Popped right back out there, was doing his thing. But the thing I noticed is in order to have a successful season like the Cardinals need to have to put a lot of work in to turn this thing around. I mean, it still isn't all in the valley and you're there and you're in a good place now. You got to have guys step up who you're not going to anticipate in doing that. Oscar Mercado, of all people,
I was gonna bring him
had a huge weekend.
I was going to bring him up.
A huge weekend. You got to have those. Those were the type of performances that last year that Brendan Donovan was giving you, or a couple of years ago that Tommy Edman was giving you, or a few years before that Paul DeJong was. Like, you got to have those guys that pop up and just nobody sees them coming, and they make an impact too.
Yeah, man. 5 RBIs. That's a 9th hitter.
Man.
What was his story? Oh, go ahead, Charlie. You're going to say something? Go ahead.
Well, look at yesterday's game specifically. Even though the big dogs, for the most part, have been barking and eating the last couple weeks, yesterday's game, so Arenado was 3 for 4 with 3 runs. But your production all came from the bottom of the order. Mm-hmm. Your run production. Edman had a ribby. Paul DeJong had 4. Oscar Mercado had 5. That's bottom of the lineup on a day where besides Nolan Arenado, your big boys had an off day, which happens all the time.
Right.
And by the way, for the bottom of your order, guys like Oscar Mercado, we didn't even mention Oscar Mercado in the offseason. We did not even, no one did, that he would even be a factor on this team. He's had a nice little
Jim would probably say he
here.
talked about him, though.
Okay, but Oscar Mercado, we know his story, that he was here back in the day, nice prospect, and Seth had the tweet. He had a good year with the Cleveland Indians. Yes, the Indians, Seth said.
Yeah.
Oh. Yes, the
He
Indians.
was top 10 rookie of the year, has fallen off, comes back to the Cardinals, gets a second chance. Who'd also thought that there'd be an opportunity in the outfield? All that anyone talked about this offseason was you have too many outfielders.
Yeah.
Nobody ever mentioned Oscar Mercado. It was Carlson, and it was Yepez, and it was Nootbaar, and it was Burleson, and it was Jordan Walker, and who else? Tyler O'Neill. And now Oscar Mercado has found a spot because none of those other guys have grabbed the spot.
Yeah.
Whether it's injury or Jordan Walker being sent down or guys not producing, there are spots open in the outfield, which is why Oscar Mercado's out there. You're seeing Brendan Donovan out there. You can throw a Tommy Edman out there.
Yeah, Donovan and Newport kind of have a little slump going. I think they're like 4 for 24. But everybody else, listen, you can't have the whole team being like that consistently.
Hey, Nootbaar, yes. Nootbaar slump. He's down a little
slump.
bit. That happens. It's all
slump.
good. Brendan Donovan, starting to wonder if we got,
What?
a little bit of a 1 year wonder.
Oh, Matty.
I mean,
That's quite a claim.
it's not that last year was, on anybody's radar. Like I said, it's the type of year you got to have. You got to have guys pop up and produce in ways that you didn't. But, I mean, he's been down bad this year. I mean, he's been down bad, and it makes it easier. Basically, Paul DeYoung has taken his reps. Because you got Tommy moving around. You need to try to – Gorman gets in the field on occasion here. But, I mean, Donovan's the one that's sliding down. That OPS, 651, 243 down. I mean, it's just what are you bringing? He's become the body guy that you thought that DeYoung was going to be just hanging around. Is he the new Taylor Motter?
Yeah, they kind of look alike, though.
Do you think them trying to add his hitting or trying to add power to his game in the spring training had anything to do with it? Do you think it messed up his swing in any way?
I don't think so, because he was plastering the ball in the spring. I mean, he was one of the guys it was there, and now it's not at this point. I'm not putting that on them saying that he's he changed your stroke, do anything like that. Like, it was working, and now it's not.
Yeah, well, I just wonder if now he's just trying to fix his swing mid-season because they try to do a different approach. I'm not blaming the coaching or whatever.
Oh, I am.
Because it worked in spring training, but I'm sure a lot of pitchers and stuff looked at film and said, all right, we can
He's not
approach
walking
this guy
either, though.
differently.
Yeah,
That was his big tool last year.
I feel like he works the count, though, in at-bats, though. Like, he's still seeing a lot of full-count pitches, and, like, he'll see more than 5 pitches in at-bat.
So, Seth,
Got good hair.
first of all, I appreciate what you're trying to do here. You're trying to bring accountability. And if you know me, I'm all about
do that on
accountability.
Hot Takes.
You got to do that. But, also, he's in the lineup nearly every day, and we got, 4 hits since the Boston series.
Yeah, what is he, like 240? It's not good.
Yeah, it's ugly.
He's terrible. No.
You need him to be good. He's a guy that can play all over the place. You can put him in a lot of different spots. While you've got guys like O'Neill and Carlson out and whatnot, it's great that Mercado stepped up and did it, but you still need more from Donovan than that. He was a guy you're looking at to be your leadoff hitter. And now, I mean, half of that whole idea is crazy. You can't be a leadoff hitter getting 4 hits over a week and a half.
Who? So they got the Reds, and then what else? Pirates?
More baseball.
Ohio,
on the other side of
baby.
that. Don't let
Isn't it
them
up
do
there
that.
to the Guardians?
Oh, they're going to Guardians.
It's the
So they can,
it's the Oscar Mercado revenge trip.
Is that who he played for? The Guardians.
No, he played for the Indians and the Guardians.
What'd you say?
Huh?
The Guardians and the Guardians, sir.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Get him in, by the way, 855-282-8255. Hey, you want to listen to that Max Muncy clip so people know what we're talking about? I just like this Contreras, man. Like, he's cool.
He's fun.
He's like, F the world. You guys want to play that game? I'm going to go out there and kick ass, and I'm not going to bitch about it, but I'm going to go out there and bring some energy, baby. And I'm going to piss people off. I love it. Go ahead.
You just put towards the frustration that was kind of happening out there, and honestly, everything that led up to the ejection.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of a weekend-long frustration that was building up, and it was, for me, it wasn't about the call. I mean, these guys are human. They're going to call the games how they see it, and to me, that's the beautiful thing about this game, and to me, that's always been the beautiful thing about the game. For me, it was how the calls were happening. The pitch before was almost the exact same location. And whether it's a ball or strike, I don't care. He called it how he saw it. He called it a ball. And for the catcher to sit there and tell him that that's a terrible call and he missed it and he needs to be better, and then the next one he gives it to him, that to me is where the frustration was coming from. And I felt like that was happening all weekend long. I felt like they were getting bullied and they gave into it. And so for me, that was where the frustration was happening, and I didn't like it. And I just... Bottom line, though, is I need to be smarter about what I do. I said what needed to be said at home plate, and it was over with, and then I took it too far by going to the third base umpire.
Willie's probably just laughing about
That's
that.
the guy that's upset that the other guy got the girl at the bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
the tall guy that looks like Cole.
For being under 6 feet.
She only gave it to him because he's 6'4".
Yeah. Seth would be, in between periods, Seth's like, that girl that Cole's dating would never even give me a chance because
Did
I'm
you
under.
say in between periods?
Yeah, because he's under
Intermission.
He's under 6 foot. That girl, you have privilege, just so you know.
I know.
Just so you know.
I know.
She wouldn't give Seth the time of day because of his height. Seth could be the nicest, sweetest guy in the world. Doesn't matter. He's not over 6 foot.
That's so wrong.
It's
That's so wrong.
It's so wrong.
That was an interesting commercial break because I'm back here in the producer studio and I hear my name said like 5 times and I have no idea what you guys were talking about.
Exactly.
I just think people like to complain.
Exactly.
Say my
True,
name.
Matt.
You put some respect on
Yep.
it.
Exactly. Seth just looked at me and goes, Cam, I just want you to know, like, that girl would never even give me a chance because I'm under 6 foot. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Hey,
That's right.
Willie, though.
It made me sad.
Hey, Willie, working the umpire.
Working the umpire,
Again,
baby.
that's what happened when you go on a little catching hiatus. You learn the Cardinal way of catching.
Do you think
And
Ali?
they teach you how to frame like he did Saturday night.
So you think
they
that's
teach
what
you
it
how to
was?
work the umpires, baby.
That's right.
He sat down on the bench between Ali for 3 days, and Ali told him this is how you do it. You work them out this way, and that was just it.
I think communication
respect on my
between
name.
pitchers, between umpires, that's important. I mean, Max Muncy said right there, he thinks that Willie basically stole that call. Sometimes you got to, if there's an umpire, you can wear him a little bit.
Wear on him
You
a
got to
little
wear on him.
So Cardinals,
I'm a beer.
here's the thing, and I've said it, and I'm going to keep saying it, is that winning these division games are huge. You know, they've got to win these head-up games against these teams in the NL Central. I hope that what's about to happen is right now they're on a burner. They just won their 4th straight series. That's awesome. I hope this isn't a trap going on the road right now in a 4-game series in Cincinnati, which is a team that's played better than the Cardinals this year, just because it's hard to play worse than them early on. You don't want to go on the road now and fall into a trap in Cincinnati and Cleveland. You got to keep this thing going because you get Cincinnati, Cleveland, you go to Kansas City for 2. Then you go up to Pittsburgh, and I think the next series I really look at that I think that by that time, going into the early parts of June, they can be pushing for first place by that time.
That's what I'm saying.
Can't step any potholes on the way there, though.
Yeah.
Got to win. Who you got to beat.
Don't break your ankle stepping on the pothole downtown like Sharon did.
Don't be that. No.
Don't do that.
For all the craziness that we all participated in, me included, but they were playing really bad. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They were playing really bad.
Are you calling accountability crazy?
Dude, we got a job to do.
No,
here.
what I'm saying is, look, and then the whole Wilson Contreras on that Saturday, their explanation for it made no sense. That's all their fault.
Yeah.
That wasn't the media doing it. No, you said it. Media and fans reacted to you. That being said, you could see that in 2 weeks here, the Cardinals will probably be over 500.
Woohoo!
No, I'm just
Charlie,
saying, I think 2 months into the season, they're probably going to be at 500 or a couple games over, which in any season you're not worried about. You're not panicking whatsoever. This Cardinals team the last 5 years or so, they have been a second-half team. Mm-hmm. They have made some tweaks to the starting rotation at trade deadlines the last couple years, and it has worked out for them. I'm talking regular season. I think we all have higher expectations for the playoffs. But after an awful first month, I bet you 2 weeks from now, the Cardinals are probably going to be sitting there in second place, pretty close to the Brewers, above 500, and with a really good chance to win 90-plus games again.
I just love listening to you break down baseball.
Thank you, John Hadley.
That was a great drop at the right time. That was a great drop. You see, you got sleep. That's what it is. You just got.
Was that you? Who was that?
Who was that? No. What are you looking?
Who gets credit?
Seth, tell everybody what you were looking up there. Just say
Tinder.
Why, do you know about this?
No, what is it? But I said, what is it?
So I just came across this. I guess the Kirkwood yearbook. They're in their yearbook. They have a page where they asked the kids, like they have quotes from people being asked, what was the weirdest place they've ever hooked up in? And when somebody said,
In high school?
In high school, they
the
had
dressing room in West County Mall. Somebody else said the football field between two hockey goals. Between
hepatitis.
two field hockey goals. I'm sorry. Sorry, it's kind of faded.
Is this
and
something
they're
where, like, if a guy and a girl have the same answer, you figured out who did it together? Like,
Yeah, but why would a high school
it
do
says
that?
hook dish. One of the quotes says, "Do what makes you happy, or who." And then the rest are pretty long, but yeah, it's kind of
I don't
it's
remember
like
any
a
of that
really
high school.
raunchy page on Kirkwood's yearbook.
So the school-sponsored yearbook.
Yeah,
That's not
it's
good.
looks to be page 119.
I mean,
And what's
But
the
it says
exact
like
question?
plan B one step, like it has like a book.
oh, dude.
Are they
That's
selling
like just a
other-
picture
They,
of
just
it.
they want the whole school.
Are they
like,
selling
a
this
band.
at like Barnes and Noble, or what's going on?
Do you have or do you
It's
keep a track of your kiss list?
Kiss list?
Yeah.
Hell no.
It says do not have one in my head. Notes app.
Jeez.
Your kiss
They
is
have,
on
like-
my list.
Some weirdo.
Hall and Oates.
Is that like the
way to go, Matt.
The yearbook committee?
the students put that in there? Or?
I guess so. I mean, all
Some
the
weirdo
students.
teacher?
I thought all the students.
Oh my God,
And like the
teacher.
member, like in I don't know what, like if they're like in the media club or whatever. I thought they were the ones that made this,
I don't know.
or like the journal club.
That's so is it
And then-
blowing up? Are people like, what the hell is this? Is that how you found it?
I just looked up local news, and that was the first thing that came up.
Oh, uh-oh. Let's see here. Charlie,
Yes, texter.
explain to us like we're 5. Why are the Cardinals running Libator out of the damn bullpen? The Cards continue to try and show everyone what geniuses they are. Angry old guy.
Oh, everybody hates me. Yeah. I didn't like that either, not going to lie. And this is not revisionist history. I just felt like keep that guy on turn. Just keep him on turn.
Yeah.
Give him a start. I also think sometimes, I think Major League Baseball teams overthink things. Like, we always talk about the 6-man rotation. Oh, you can't do that. Then they do it because you have this stretch of 19 games. All of these pitchers, except for just rarely the other day, Michaelis goes 7. Most of these dudes, even Flaherty yesterday, who was cruising, you thought, oh, man, maybe he goes 7. He's definitely going to get through 6. He didn't even make it through 5. So to act like you couldn't piggyback 2 of these starters together and let them both throw 90 pitches. And hell, you know what? If the second guy only throws 56 pitches, then let him do his bullpen work afterwards. Honestly, like Matthew Libator, I think you should keep him on turn to be a starter.
Yeah.
I think he had a
He looked
good
good,
outing.
yeah.
And I'm not saying this is going to ruin him, but it's like, dude, he had a good start. Give him another one.
I agree. What do you guys think? 855-282-8255. Is Charlie right? Usually is.
Yeah.
Usually
I don't
is.
know about that, but
Usually is.
I've been pleased to see some of the adjustments that Matt's has made. You know, he's still getting a lot of contact and things like that. But this is the kind of pitcher he is. But again, I don't like when they're playing around with the young guys like that. Like last year, Gorman wasn't getting regular reps, and then he fell out of sync and got sent down. Now you see what you can do with him there. Same situation kind of started happening with Jordan Walker earlier this year. You got to treat your top prospects differently because the investment you got on them is just higher. We talked about that on Friday on High Noon about the idea of Libator coming out of the pen and what that could look like, and it's not good. You got to make a decision, and I understand you've got the schedule the way it is, and sometimes you might have to do that. If you're going to do that, and the Cardinals haven't, I don't know if they've ever done this for real, but having an opener start, like having people that you know are going to work a certain amount of innings so they can prepare that way.
Jordan Hicks for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. But you got to. I would be more comfortable with that than saying, "Matt, we're going to bring you in the 7th inning like a traditional reliever."
Okay, so I think the reason they don't do this is because it comes across as disrespectful. But it makes total sense. If you look at what Adam Wainwright is usually giving you on a nightly basis, or Steven Matz, for example, do those guys ever go more than 5 usually?
No.
Okay, so here's what you should do. If you don't want to disrespect the older guys with the contracts, you do this. You piggyback Matthew Libator on one of their days, and you say, Matthew Libator, here's what we're going to do. If we start Waino, when he gets in trouble in the 4th or 5th, we're going to bring a reliever in to basically close out that inning. And then we're going to give you the clean inning, almost like you're a starter. And you can have the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And people, oh, it's crazy. That's not crazy at all. That's what they should do because these guys all throw 100 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. And then you fry your bullpen. By the way, one of the reasons the Dodgers lost this series, their bullpen is absolutely fried. Why would you not piggyback him? You know why? Because it's disrespectful to Adam Wainwright to have that as a format. It's disrespectful to Steven Matz. That's what you should do, actually.
Well, won't they realize that? Like, okay, enough disrespectful. Like, no, you're trying to win a damn game. What can you do to have a better chance of winning a ball game?
That's what they should do.
That's it. Get out of the egos out of here. Who cares?
Let Matthew Libator throw 4 to 5 innings instead of now tooling with them out of the bullpen.
So you think Ali is afraid to do that because he's going to piss off Waino? That's unacceptable.
My point is, teams, I think, don't do that because it's disrespectful to the starting pitcher who I could go out there and go 9 on a day. I'm going to go 7. Well, guess what? You don't.
No, you don't.
And nobody would do this 10 years ago when Adam Wainwright was close to winning Cy Young Awards. But when Matz and Adam Wainwright are barely going 5, this actually makes sense with a guy like Libator.
Yeah. What do you think, Matty? You agree?
Yeah,
But it won't happen. By the way, this will never happen.
No,
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, I don't think
No
so
chance.
either. I mean, that's the point. I mean, again, the Cardinals are trying to serve a lot of different outcomes all at the same time. You're trying to get Waino his, deserved. I don't know. That comes off bad, but you know what I mean. I mean, you brought him back to do a job, so you're wanting to put him out there. He's making 20 schmil. He needs a pitch.
Yeah, but still.
But, but also at the end of the day, you've got Libator you've got to work in. You've got this rotation that's just been all over the place. And it's just, you're trying to get those guys in a groove because you need them to be good. Like, Michaelis has looked better. Flaherty's been better of late. Like, the rotation is trending in the right way. But now you're trying to figure out ways to get all these guys the looks they need. I just think that if you're going to do it, before I'm doing a 6-man rotation, I'd much rather just spread it around and say, you're working 3, you're working 3. Waino, unless you're in a groove, this guy's getting up and he's getting ready to pitch a 6 because it's in the best interest of the team.
That's exactly what you just said there.
And it's
all that should matter.
And it's not like guys like Verhagen haven't been good out of the pen this year and guys that do have the ability to work multiple innings. You got a lot of different opportunities on this team because you didn't really commit to going in one direction with the roster. It was a lot of wait and see. So now you got to do a lot of different things.
So how long does it take for Libator to get warmed up if he's coming in the 6th inning? Like, how long does it take for him to legitimately feel good?
But here's the problem with that. It's hard to know that exactly without, him saying it. But when you've been a starter your entire life, and he's been a starter all the way through the minors, you're getting ready to pitch the night before. You're getting up, you're going through the whole day. Yeah. Whereas if you're a guy coming out of the pen, you can be like, all right, time to go. Let's just go do it. Like, there's guys that drink and there's guys that take shots. Starters drink.
Yes.
Relievers take shots.
I get you.
That's
Who
the
does
difference.
both? Besides me.
A starter/reliever, like an old school John Smoltz. Remember, goes from Cy Young to saving 50 games.
Raleigh Fingers, who's got saves over 4 innings in 1977. Back in the days when you could work that long and you ain't eat all of this coddling.
So here we go. Here's ERAs for the Cardinals currently. Jack Flaherty, 5.29. Jordan Montgomery, 4.21. Okay. Not bad, but also he had a couple rough ones. Steven Matz, 5.05. Miles Michaelis trending better, but still 4.77. You go down, our guy Adam Wainwright, 5.74. Very small sample size for Matthew Libator. He's got a 3 ERA in 6 innings. My point, though, is none of those starters are doing anything even close to elite, if not even above average. We're talking everybody basically giving you 5 innings and 3 runs, 3 earned runs on average per start. Now, Michaelis is trending better recently.
Yeah, he looked good the other night.
But my point is, if those guys didn't have contracts, if Matz didn't have a contract, if Waino didn't have a contract and he wasn't Waino, legacy Cardinal, Matthew Libator would be in there quicker.
Yeah.
But this is the business of sports. They do play contracts, 100%.
The rest of the NL Central are finally playing above 500 teams now, also 6-6. Nolan Gorman is carrying this team and emerging as a star, Gio Fallon.
Agree with that.
Cards winning because they're scoring like a softball team, Bud Light 32. Not Seth's softball team, I'll tell you that right now.
The one I can't play for.
No, I know.
Yeah, we could have used you on Wednesday.
Well,
guys.
Hey.
The bullpen being good, relatively speaking, while Helsley and Gio not blowing saves has been huge for the team in the last 2 weeks. Maybe the most underrated part of the turnaround. Kyle with the big hands.
So how about this for the offense? And we were complaining. but it was early. Cardinals amongst Major League Baseball. This is every team, all 30. Cardinals now 5th in runs scored with 245 in all of baseball.
They're crushing.
They are 5th in OPS at 775. Let's look at slug. They are 6th in slug. This is all baseball at 440. They are 5th in on-base percentage at 335. Now, I'm not even going to get into the advanced metrics, but some of the baseball card type stats that matter, just look, runs, OBP, slug, OPS. The Cardinals are essentially a top 5 offense in all of baseball. And I think that's what people thought they would be. You are
what you thought you were.
What we thought you were.
Yeah. You are where you're at, which we thought you were going to be.
I think it says a lot that they've got a plus 18 run differential, and that's second best in the NL.
They also went crazy. I joke about run differential, but when you have an 18-1 game, and then you have a 16 to whatever. So we all want more consistent. You want 5 runs a night. But the 18-run explosion sure as hell helped the run differential and the stats that I just mentioned.
Of course.
But they are who we thought they were.
Rammer has been pushing for Mercado for weeks on High Noon Wombat. Has he? He knows what's up, man.
Yes,
the
he
Ram
has.
Dog. The Ram
He's been
Dog.
saying, look, if you're going to the young guys have to play, whether it be in St. Louis or in Memphis. So you might as well have a guy like Oscar Mercado, who you don't really view as a prospect, but he can come in, he's fast, he can play a little outfield for you and be a late-game substitution. I don't think Rammer certainly didn't expect him to have a 5 RBI game over the weekend, but he's been calling for him. Saying
I called for that.
He can play a specific role, and the young guys who may not be ready to be in the starting lineup every single day, they can go down to Memphis and play every day and develop. So win-win.
Well said. And by the way, I think this is interesting to basically weave into the whole Wilson Contreras narrative. Because I think when you have that weirdness happen, and he doesn't catch for about 10 games, then he comes back, Cardinals get right, and they're winning games. And I think the thought might be, the pitching staff is better. It's actually not. This is all because the offense has exploded in the past 2 weeks. The Cardinals starters are still 22nd in baseball in ERA at 4.89. So the rotation actually hasn't gotten better. It's essentially the same. It's not a good rotation. This team is going nuts the last couple weeks because the offense has emerged.
Mm-hmm. I get you. To be fair, Charlie, Rammer and Klebs both advocated for Mercado being backup outfield on this roster so the premium prospects can play in Memphis full-time. Scooter in U City. Yeah, man, those guys are on. They're on it, man. I've heard a lot about the Birds trying to trade Gorman in the offseason, which makes me think that the FO is more clueless than we thought, front office.
Well, it looks like there was a report that Gorman was one of the players that the A's could have picked. They had to pick, 2 out of 3 of this group of players for Sean Murphy.
Yeah.
Sean Murphy's really good. I mean, you have to give up talent to get Sean Murphy.
Yeah, I get that.
Can't have it both ways. You can't say you're going to get a guy who's probably the best catcher in the NL this year and then say you don't have to.
He's just going to give him to you.
Here, and that's the difference, by the way, like with Marcell Ozuna. If Marcell Ozuna would have played really well here and signed a contract and the Cardinals win the World Series, you look at that trade totally different. It's like Tage Thompson and Ryan O'Reilly. If the Blues never won the Cup, you would look at that trade totally different. If Ryan O'Reilly wasn't a really good captain here and put up numbers, you would look at that trade totally different.
Of course. The way that dude's playing up there in Buffalo. Let's see. I'm sorry, that sounds kind of whiny by Muncie. Move on, fella. 402. Yeah, I know. You're when you bitch like that and you tie in the Wilson Contreras thing, which was a national story, people are probably going to chirp you for that because they're going to tie it all together.
He was asked, though. He didn't just go sound off on that. He was asked.
Yeah, and he got kicked out, too, so it's like, I get you on that.
And he gave a good answer, which RFR, Root for Radio, he was great.
No doubt.
No
doubt. I hear you on that.
He answered a question that he was asked. I think that's fair game.
Never thought I'd say this, but more Hadley drops, please. Carlos Danger. All right, well, do it. Hey, if they want something, you got to do it. You know,
I got.
Is that the policy?
We work for them, Maddie.
Here, let's.
We work for them.
Whoops. Here, let's turn off the microphone.
Shut up, you candy asses.
There you go.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Wouldn't it be so Cardinals, though, that if after the craziness of the first month, that this team all of a sudden gets going and they're led by Paul DeJong and Oscar Mercado? Obviously, Nolan Arenado and Nolan Gorman, Paul Goldschmidt, they're going to do their thing.
And Kiz.
And Kiz, of course. But it's just like that's a Cardinals thing. Everything's going crazy. Oh, the entire fan base wants you to cut Paul DeJong, and he's freaking going nuts right now.
Man, I got to hit a home run for the boys on the show.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, sir.
That's my boy right there. Guys, the Cardinals will be in first when they go across the pond for the fixtures against the Rigbyville side.
I don't think it's going to take that long.
They're playing some bums here coming up, guys.
Yeah, they are.
The only 5 people who voted against me were
Jimmy the Cat Hayes, Jimmy the Cat Hayes, Jimmy the Cat Hayes, Jimmy the Cat Hayes, Jimmy the Cat Hayes.
I like how that's 5
That
different
is
times you
so
sang that.
Funny, dude.
That's 5 different times you said it.
That was great.
That's amazing.